That's our new intro. No, I'm kidding. Hello, everybody. My name's Alex Hennon. Welcome back to The Men's Couch, a show about men's mental health.
Help me.
I'm Alex Hennon, and I'm here joined by my hostages.
Nicholas.
Micah.
Jacob.
That's right. Totally in that order. And, yeah, guys, welcome back to The Men's Couch once again. We are on season 4. Can't
I
believe
think it's 13.
Episode 13.
I think. Don't quote us.
We don't know.
It's
at this
13,
point.
I think.
We don't know.
I'm like,
he knows. He's
I'm
logical.
I'm like 90% sure.
I can check.
But
logical.
yeah, welcome back once again. Really appreciate you guys joining us for this evening. Before we start though, don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel and our Spotify. Either way, you can listen to us on those platforms. And also don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Men's Couch. Now, Micah, my homie, my home slice, take it away.
Hello everyone. I'm definitely not Jacob. I'm Micah. So.
Are you sure?
Well, I
Are
have
you certain?
the skin to prove it.
Yeah, that might work. I believe
Sure.
you know.
Well, wait, they can't see, but yeah.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about overthinking. Overthinking is a big subject. I think it affects everyone, and everyone overthinks. But how do we deal with overthinking? Like, what do we do when we are in an overthinking spiral?
What's in your head?
Yeah,
That's a good point. Like,
I overthink a lot.
Same.
honestly, same. It used to be a lot worse when I was younger, but thankfully, I mean, it still happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still happens.
Yeah.
But it's better now that I'm older. So, can you rephrase? Can you say the question one more time?
So I guess it's like not necessarily a question, but like, I guess like, what is your experience overthinking? Like, what happens when you overthink? How do you confront it?
What
And,
happens
like,
when I overthink? Okay.
Yeah. Blah blah blah
Alright.
blah blah blah
Alright.
blah
Blah, 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 blah. So what?
Interesting.
I guess what happens, I feel more stressed than anything else, and like just going through the possible scenarios. What I tend to do is when there's like a certain time frame where I have to choose between two things I want to do, and I have to choose one or the other of my plan. That's like that whole
like
time
the
I'm just thinking.
decision making.
Yes.
Oh god.
Because I have this thing where I really just I can change my decision like just like that,
Yup.
and it goes back and forth. That's kind of an issue I've been trying to deal with.
Like, do I go to Blaze Pizza or do I study more? Like, you know,
That happens
I
to
just
me
They've
all
been
the
doing
time.
this to me ever since.
I'm teasing you.
Ever since. I still want
Yeah.
Blaze Pizza.
But no, like it can be like down to decisions like that. Like, do I go to Blaze Pizza? Like, you overthink because it's. I feel like overthinking can be based on fear. Like, if I go to Blaze Pizza, then I won't be able to get some work done. But I want to go to Blaze Pizza. If I don't go to Blaze Pizza, then I feel like I'm not going to be able to like spend time with the people around me. It's just you can go into like all these spirals, and sometimes you get to a point where you don't even make a decision. You just like for me, sometimes it gets to a point where like I'm frozen, and it's called like I think we talked about this before, analysis paralysis.
Yes.
Where you're like we're kind of like frozen and we're not able to make a decision because we're so like caught in that spiral.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what do you two think?
I would say in terms of overthinking, it's something that I deal with like all of the time. Like, I know you guys use the example of the pizza example. Like, for me, it's like, I had this today even, like, which assignment do I do first? Like,
Same thing, brother.
Yeah.
I had it to where either I could have done my business law, like, scholarship. So, like, the business school was offering, like, a $5,000 scholarship. Or I could have done my history assignment. That's due Sunday. They're both due Sunday, but
Yeah.
one of them's for points. One of them is for money.
Money,
Like,
money.
but overall, I chose to do the history because he's reviewing it in class.
Right. Yeah.
I overthink to that so much.
Yeah.
It kind of went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And you feel like if you do one thing over the other, then you feel like, oh, I'm missing out on this. I'm doing the other thing, and then I overthink about doing that. Like, it's just a lot.
Yep.
It's a lot.
I can relate, especially with the order of assignments and priority. I was up till like 2 a.m. last night doing an assignment, and then I woke up again at 5 a.m. to continue and complete the assignment. And then the class it was due for got canceled, and it wasn't collected. So that was a wonderful experience that I would love to have many more times in my life. But I find overthinking is sort of the opposite of everything that I want to do. I like it whenever something is concise, whenever something can be concisely explained or concisely given. And overthinking just
Tries to fill the
completely undoes
gaps.
that. And also, I find whenever I do tend to overthink, the solution only gets farther away from me, never closer. As I'm wasting my time,
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
as time is counting down, and I'm thinking about every possible outcome and every possible formula to achieve these outcomes,
Yeah.
I'm doing everything but making progress towards a beneficial outcome.
Yeah, for me, overthinking comes from a fear of failure and a fear of taking action and taking the wrong action. So it's like, sometimes like for me, it can come down to basic stuff like sending a text message or calling someone. I'll like overthink
Oh,
sending a
definitely, yeah.
text message.
I used to be really bad with emails like that.
I'll overthink sending a text message,
Yes.
and I'm overthinking this person's reaction. What if they take this the wrong way and whatever. Then I overthink like actually calling someone, because like what if I'm like interrupting them or of all the possible things of what they would say or how much of an inconvenience it is. So I'll overthink that decision. I overthink those decisions. When it comes to like, and I think I've become better at this of just taking action with even when there's not 100% certainty of the outcome that you want, because that's just how life is. You just have to take action.
Definitely.
And for me, it's just a fear of failing, fear of making a mistake that sometimes can trap me from actually doing that. So like my coping mechanism to protect and to control situations is to overthink, so that I can just get it right. We think we're gonna get it right by overthinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked what Micah said, like sending a text to somebody. I think you have like so many things that go through your head when you're
Yes.
sending that text to somebody.
Yes. And then it's like, oh my gosh, they didn't read it. So you kind of go over into overthinking of, are they like, just not, are they distracted? Like what's going on? So you go through that, like those spirals, and then you kind of say, okay, did what I say offend them? So you kind of like go into that spiral, and there's just so many things I overthink. And it sometimes, like for me, I overthink speaking my mind, which I've become better at, of just like being confident in my voice. I overthink like before I say something. I was like, okay, how's everyone going to react? I don't want to like step on anyone's toes or like offend anyone, so I try to like limit what I say or like edit it. But I realize that you just have to say what you have to say, and whether or not it lands, it's just you have to use your voice, because if you overthink before you say anything, then it's going to stop you from actually saying anything. But there is like the overthinking after you do something, like after you make that decision, after you go to Blaze Pizza, after you send a text message, after you call someone, after you stay up like at 2 a.m. or whatever.
True.
There's like you overthink your decisions so much to the point where you like feel a sense of regret almost. Have you ever experienced that?
Regret?
Like
Absolutely.
overthinking decisions.
Yes.
Yes.
But like past decisions, or like after you made it. So after you like hypothetically after you went to Blaze Pizza, like do you ever like overthink like, oh my gosh, of all the many possibilities of what I could have missed out on?
No. Usually I supplement bad decisions with more bad decisions.
Oh.
What
So
do you
for
mean?
example, if I had a Simon do tomorrow and I was like, I want to go to Blaze. I don't like Blaze Pizza. Sponsor us,
The
Blaze. I don't like you
audience.
guys, but please sponsor us if you are listening. Anyways, I would go to like Chipotle or something of that sort. Maybe a Chinese restaurant. They're pretty good there. They give me a lot of food.
You
They
tried
like
to
me.
get me to Chipotle the other day.
I did actually, yeah.
Bro, let
Yeah.
me know. 'Cause I'm-
But you want to go after this? Anyways, we'll plan it.
Well, actually, no, okay.
For example, I would not go to Chipotle and then come back and get to studying fanatically and anxiously. I would go to Chipotle and then go see the Minecraft movie and
but
throw
do
a
you
popcorn
feel-
all over the place whenever he says chicken jockey.
So do
That's what
you?
I'm saying.
So, but like when you do that, do you feel a sense of guilt for
No.
not? Okay.
Well, I find this, and this is a phrase that you can easily reverse.
Okay.
Action conquers anxiety.
Oh.
On the flip side-
Honestly,
Anxiety conquers action if you have too much of it. I feel like I
Quote
killed
of
the
the
energy
day.
there. Let's go
Okay.
back.
Quote of the day.
Action conquers anxiety.
They should put
Wait
it
a
up
second.
on the.
Quote
We
of the
gotta
day.
do, we gotta do it, the quote.
Write that
quote.
down.
We gotta write this down.
Do they pay you, Micah, to do the quotes?
No, that was Lucas did that the other day. But yeah, I think
Oh, did I copy Lucas?
no.
He's a wise man, and quotes are his thing, so I understand.
What action conquers anxiety?
Yeah.
Action
We'll
call.
put that on the post.
Cool, cool.
But I think you're right, because once you make that decision and do that decision, you feel better about it.
Yeah, and I see no reason to sit there and dwell on something that you cannot change any longer.
Yeah.
Overthinking in the future is somewhat relatable because it is something that is still within your power to control.
Yeah.
However, overthinking on a past decision and overthinking on regret is something that is unnecessarily painful for you.
Yeah.
And I find it in no way to be beneficial.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
yeah, it's just
I'm not
it's
saying
just
don't
hard.
learn from it. I'm
Well,
just
it's like
saying
it
don't
could-
sit there and dwell on it.
No, because I'm a dweller. I dwell on like past mistakes and decisions I've made because I feel like if I dwell on it, then like somehow I'm just going to. And this is like not like good thinking. It's just for me dwelling on like a past mistake. Like it's like a shame thing too, where I dwell on it and I think of all like the things that I could have done right. But I feel like that's not how life works because life is made of failure.
Yep, there.
I don't know if you were there on the failure episode.
That was my first episode.
Oh, okay.
Oh!
Okay. But yeah. Because I think that's what overthinking is that we're trying to avoid our worst fears.
Yeah.
And whether it be fear of making a mistake, fear of letting other people down, or just fear of not getting things right, where we have this standard of what a right decision is. Like, I need to make the right decision. I need to like make sure that I go to Blaze Pizza, and I need to make sure I do that.
Crispy crab pizza.
But you put so much pressure on that, like the decision making itself, that you can't get anywhere because you feel that if you don't make the right decision, then it says something about yourself or about just who you are. So I think that's one of the reasons why we overthink is so that we feel the need we feel the need to overthink because are you recording? Hi.
No, I'm not recording.
Oh.
I'm not recording.
We feel the need to overthink because it provides us a sense of security for us when we're overthinking a decision, when we're going through the motions of it, when we're kind of thinking it through and going through every possible decision and every possible thing that the effect of that decision, then we feel a sense of security and control. We're not able to trust the process with overthinking, because trusting the process means, okay, I'm going to make a decision even though I'm not fully certain of like that I'm fully confident in it. Because I feel like overthinking also is that we feel that we need to be fully confident in something in order to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of we go through our lives with a limited amount of certainty that things will work out as we always envision them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Very true.
All right.
Next.
Next.
I was gonna say too with overthinking. Something that I did today that I felt that I overworked myself. There you go. There's another topic.
Uh-oh.
But like overworking too, like being careful how much you work yourself too. Like that's something else like you could overthink about as well. Like how
Yeah.
much am I working myself? I don't want to work myself too
To
much.
death. Yeah.
Or like, oh, I think I'm doing too little or too much.
Yeah, it comes down to work too, with that sense of productivity, how much you are productive. You can overthink, well, am I being productive? Or am I just being like, am I slacking? Am I being lazy? So when you overthink that, then you'll either work yourself to death, or you won't want to work at all, because if you're overthinking so much about working and about doing like the perfect task, then you won't be able to get it done. It can be as simple as like washing the dishes, like oh, I have to like you just think about washing the dishes instead of like actually doing it and actually taking action, which I think that's like to overcome overthinking. Number one for me, what helps me like settle my thoughts is journaling. I like to journal a lot, but also just taking action and understanding that the action that you take, it doesn't when you make a mistake or if something happens that goes against what you planned, it doesn't say anything about you. It's just how life works.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so much of overthinking comes from us fearing that we lack control, and we're trying to get a sense of control, and we, like I said before, we're not able to trust what will happen, that it's just meant to happen as it is. Not saying that you live in passivity, but you are stepping out based on what you know. And I think another thing with overthinking for me personally is faith. So I feel like the more like we overthink, it's like the more that we are relying more on our own logic and knowledge over faith, because faith doesn't have complete certainty that everything is just going to work out perfectly as you planned. And taking a step out in faith is being risky, it's being vulnerable. So yeah. Are you just? I feel like you're distracted.
A little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Something's going on, but yeah.
I do like how you ended and brought us towards faith.
Huh?
Yeah.
I have no further contributions.
You have no further contribution.
Alex, what are you thinking about? Let's defeat overthinking. Tell me in 5 words what you're thinking about.
5
and what
words.
you've been thinking about
What am
today.
I thinking about right now?
What's been troubling you all day? What you've overthought about lately?
Yeah. What have you you seem to be preoccupied.
Probably homework has been my main rival.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or studying.
Okay,
this
homework and
semester.
studying.
Because this is where all my true classes of my major come in.
Okay, okay.
So there's been times where I'm like, oh, I really need to study, and then I lock in with the studying, but then it doesn't go well.
What do you mean it doesn't go well?
No, I can relate to that. Overthinking gets in the way of studying all the time.
Yeah.
Overthinking,
okay.
how do I optimize this routine? How can I get the most out of the least effort? It's a terrible thing. And then you get nothing at all because you put in no effort.
Mentos.
Why is he here every week? Anyways.
Shout out to Mentos again.
We should get him on.
But yeah, I do relate to that. And when it comes down to perfectionism and doing a task perfectly, whether it be studying, you want to make sure you think you need to have all of your cards on the table with all the information that you need to know, and that's too much. That's too much for your brain to handle. And over time I accepted that I'm not going to get everything, and that's okay. But it's also it also forces me to confront my fear of not getting everything done and accepting my limits. And I think another thing with overthinking is we overthink what we can handle, and by overestimating what we can handle, we think, okay, I need to handle more than I can, more than I actually can. And some consequences of that are burnouts and prolonged stress, because you are based on your overthinking that if I don't actually do this, then I'm going to be in trouble with my standards, and I'm just letting myself down. And it's also about expectations too, as well.
I can see that. Yeah, it's definitely expectations as well.
Yeah.
Both for yourself, mainly for yourself, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely plays a factor.
Yeah, I feel.
I lost my thought.
I found it. We have a tendency to hold ourselves to a much higher and unrealistic standard beyond what anybody else would. And I think that is a significant portion of overthinking, is whenever we set our goals, we think in such a way that we almost view ourselves as one, infallible,
Mm-hmm.
and two, forced by whatever it may be, society or our surroundings,
Yeah.
to achieve above and beyond anything that is, for one, reasonable, and two, even possible.
And I think overthinking. I think overthinking deals with our tendency to think that we need to be, like, what is the word? Like all knowing.
Omnipotent. I think is
Omnipotent.
the
Like
word you're looking for.
we want to. We feel that we need to know everything. I struggle with this like
Oh.
heavily. Cause I feel like cause I'm a questioner. Like I need to know. Like I like to know why is this happening. You know, I like to know the why behind everything. I like to question life and stuff. So, but then I can get into the trap of overthinking why something is happening, based off of my quest to have all the knowledge, and being like having knowledge is a good thing, but having all the knowledge, you should never feel that you need to have all the knowledge about a situation. It's just that some things that you aren't going to know, and as an adult, it's okay that you don't know how to do something or you don't know something. It's an opportunity to learn, and overthinking doesn't like allow you to learn from your decisions or learn from your actions that you take. And I feel like being an adult means taking actions that aren't certain all the time. Like you're not certain whether it be moving to Florida or you're going to take an action of moving to Florida. You might overthink that decision of like, oh my gosh, this is such a big move. Like what if like
Oh, okay.
it's such a big move. Or it can be like getting a new cat or getting a pet. I was like, oh, I have to overthink, just taking care of it. It's just a lot of overthinking because we're so afraid to make a decision. We might be afraid of making a decision because of what it might require from us that we feel we're not capable of. But we doubt our own capacities because of those unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Honestly, very true. I think another part of that, at least for us, is that we, in the grand scheme of things, this is the first phase of adulthood for us, if that makes sense. Like we're 20, right? Are you 20?
Yes.
You're 20?
18.
You're 18?
Yeah.
Oh,
I forget. Yeah.
so we're in the 18-20 range, right? So
Or
this is
18
like the
to
first
22.
time where
We're young adults.
we're young adults now.
Mhm.
So we
Gen Z
can do literally whatever we want. Well,
Yeah.
with like
with reason.
laws. But
Yeah.
And we get help from our friends of whether or not we should make a decision.
well, yeah,
Certainly we do.
exactly. It's just that like we don't have to rely on our parents
Making
parents
making
our decisions
decisions,
anymore.
yeah.
We have to make those now.
And I think that is like I'm glad you mentioned that because that like how it also deals with how we grow up, but how our family makes decisions and how our family deals with things. But just now that we're on our own and we're really making decisions, daily decisions, because before when we were in high school or elementary school, most of our decisions were based on what our parents thought that were best for us. But now that we're making decisions for ourselves, it's challenging because we were figuring out who we are and our identity separate from our family of origin, and that can come up. Like overthinking can also deal with like our sense of identity of like who am I, and if I'm making this decision, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, and I'm taking like leadership roles and positions, and stepping outside my comfort zone. So you overthink that, like am I qualified for this position, or am I like, what happens if I actually do it? Like what if I don't do it? Am I like it's just so much. It's a lot.
It is a
lot
lot.
of spirals.
Yeah, and I think everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
Especially with like a new job as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting into that territory.
Yeah.
If the sky falls. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Exactly. So like, because I'm getting a new internship this summer, and it's very big. So I'm kind of stepping out of my comfort zone for that.
Oh.
But, like,
Yeah, me too. I haven't.
Yeah. And you know, it can be scary. You know, it's a new environment. You know, stuff like that. And it's like this is the biggest job I've ever had.
Let's talk about that later.
What's that?
Let's talk about that later. Anyway, like I want to talk more about that with you later
Oh, okay.
for our late night talks.
Okay.
What?
I have something. to
Jacob's
say.
eyes. So yeah, I feel like that can be scary for people.
Because I relate to
Yeah.
that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. So like, let's say you're going for a position in a club or whatever. Now, I would also say too. I know like overthinking like what club to like run for, but also to being overconfident.
Mm-hmm.
This is what my thought was earlier, and then it came back. So like if you're too confident, too like, you might not study as much for that test, or you might think you're overqualified too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think overthinking, we try to overthink because we feel we need to fill in the gaps. When a situation is more ambiguous, when there's not a clear-cut decision, you know, because a lot of life is just so messy, and there are going to be, you know, black and white decisions where, you know, you have to do this, you have to, I don't know, sometimes you just have to study or instead of go to Place Pizza. But a lot of like life, or sometimes you have to go to Florida or whatever. But a lot of life decisions are very ambiguous and there's not so clear cut. They're messy and it's a lot of gray area. And I feel like we don't leave space for that because we feel that that everything needs to be clear cut, either this or this. Which in some cases it is, but in a lot of cases it's not. And it's okay to be in a place where it's just going to be great for now. Like I don't know like what the next step is, and I don't have to know. I'm just going to take it minute by minute, second by second, and just be patient with myself as I figure out what I need to do. And I think that counters overthinking, accepting that life is not so black and white, and there are a lot of things that we do that are it's a lot of like decisions take time and patience, but also some decisions are not like a right or wrong thing. Some things you just make a decision and you do the thing, and it's not like it's wrong. It just is.
Just is what it is, right? Life still moves on. You know?
Like it just is a decision. Like we don't have to define that decision of whether it's black, right or wrong, or black or white. And I feel like we get caught in that trap because, like, we think in either or terms, which yes, again, as I said, there are cases where it is like either or but life is just so complex and nuanced, and I think that leaves that triggers our overthinking. The fact that life is nuanced, but there's also like there can be beauty found in the complexities of life, and there can be beauty in that, and we don't have to use overthinking as a coping mechanism to deal with that. There are ways to deal with the complexities of life. We just have to accept that. Number one, accept that it is, and accept that, like, especially like, oh my gosh, I feel like I learned so much, like becoming an adult, that life is just so much more complex and nuanced than we want to make it out to be, and especially dealing with other people. Other humans are complex. Jacob's complex.
Yeah.
Nicholas is complex. I'm complex. Hennon's complex. Jacob Ostrowski. That's why I couldn't figure out your name the entire time, because he called you Austria.
Austria for a long time, yeah.
Austria's complex, and we're just, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
it's just
that defines character.
Yeah,
that makes character. If we were all the same, life would be boring.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought you were gonna say something. Spit it out. Throw it out. Throw it out.
Do it. You won't.
What else? You also called me Eucalyptus.
Oh yeah.
Which I think certainly would have made finding my name more difficult for the other of you.
Eucalyptus.
Yeah.
It's a whole story.
Alright.
But wait, I thought you were there. When I
No,
called him.
you would know it had you been there.
Okay.
Maybe I don't remember.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think that's okay, and there's so much beauty with things being complex and things being like more like than like
Yeah.
either this, and it's just so much like becoming an adult. I've just realized that it's just especially just dealing with situations because life knows how to throw curveballs at you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unexpected curveballs that you thought you think, okay, I have everything, I got everything, I know what's going on about my life. Then life just throws a three curveball at you, and and everything that and everything that's like around you seems to be more messy than you thought it was. But that happens, and that happens, and the more we accept that life is complex, the less that we feel, I guess, a temptation to go into those overthinking spirals, and the less that we feel that we need overthinking as a sense of security. Because we don't like, we feel like we need it. And yes, it's good to think about decisions. It's good to take time and reflect about your decisions and everything. It's good to have that. But if that's stopping you from making the decisions that you want to make and the actions that you want to take, then it can become like a way of like sabotaging decision that you really need to make. That I think overthinking and sabotage go hand in hand.
Definitely, yes.
I was gonna say to that, Micah, to like when you were talking about decisions and stuff, I was thinking about like a test. Like, let's say you have a test and I don't know, whatever class you think and you're overthinking answers on the test. Once it happens once, it starts to happen on every question.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
That happens, like, I feel like we sometimes treat life like a test.
Yeah.
Like, we treat life like it's a test. And, it's either A, B, C, or D. I have to either, do I go to Florida? A, I don't know. B, do I go to Blaze Pizza? A, B. Like, we treat it as a test, but life is not, it's not a test. It's we do get tested by life, but it's not like, we shouldn't approach life as it's like A, B, C, or D. We should approach it as yes, I will make this decision. I will go to Blaze Pizza. I will do this. I will take this internship. I will I will go to Austria.
Okay.
But sorry, I'm in a goofy mood, but
It's okay.
I will get on the roller coaster.
Yep. You have to go on the roller coaster.
But I will do those things, and sometimes it's scary, like you said, scary, and it triggers like our fears when we do take those action steps. But over time, you develop your sense of confidence that you can handle this. Whatever comes your way, you will be able to handle it. You don't need overthinking to protect yourself or use it as like a shield from whatever thing happens. Like, even if something happens, when you like after you make the decision, like you move to Florida, you move to Florida and you things happen in Florida, and some things don't work out, but you made the decision. You should be proud that you made that.
Yeah. No, I have something to say here in a minute.
You should be proud to make that decision, or you go to a different place or college. You need to be proud of making that decision because you took the action step despite all the fear that you had. And sometimes you just need to put overthinking to the side, as difficult as it can be, and do it while you are so uncertain, so doubtful of it. Okay.
I was going to say my little thing here. I was laughing whenever I came up with it. So like you were saying about Florida, here we go. So what I was going to say is you're in the line in Universal Studios, the Velocicoaster. You're in line.
That's good one.
You're in line and you see people going on the ride. You're like, do I really want to go on that ride?
Oh my gosh.
That's the question.
Or do I want to chicken out and not ride the ride?
Yeah.
And it's like
You can overthink that. Even
Yeah.
that.
you could overthink literally everything, but like overall with that too, like I actually have a story with going on that ride. I went on it and my seatbelt came off.
Huh?
Mm.
Huh? And you lived to tell the tale?
Yep. And like the strap or whatever stayed in, like the
Yeah.
thing. Just
Oh.
the seatbelt, not the strap.
Okay.
I hold it on to the strap like crazy. That just reminded me of that when you guys were talking about like waiting in line for the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like for me, it can be like overthinking can be overthinking can be hard for me because I struggle with OCD and anxiety. So it does make itself like bigger in my mind where I feel like I need to like obsessively fixate on something so that I can make the right decision. But that's not gonna solve that's not solving anything. And with dealing things with like anxiety and uncertainty about the outcome of the decisions that you make is taking action.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to experience something. You have to, go out of your comfort zone and do that thing. And sometimes you're going to fail while doing it.
No,
Fail while
failure.
walking. You're gonna fail.
Failure.
Failure.
But that doesn't like this. It's not a bad thing. I feel like we overthink.
There you go, Mike.
Yeah, sure.
But it's not like it's when we make a decision, it makes us look vulnerable, and we don't like to make, especially like if the people around us don't understand our decision, whether it be to change majors or move to a different state. People might not like understand like our decision, and the people around us might not understand our decision. So we'll feel like a sense of we'll overthink that because the people around us aren't like validating or affirming that in us. So we'll overthink that because we'll think that because the people around us don't validate that, then that means I'm making the wrong decision, and it's just it can be a lot. But still, I encourage you to still go out and make that decision because life is not going to stop if you are going to continuously overthink. And that when you overthink, there is and you're not like moving through that, there is a sense of loss. Like sometimes you lose opportunities, or you might, lose out on Blaze Pizza, or you lose out on doing your homework because of like just being so stuck, where you won't be able to make a decision, or you won't be able to like answer A, B, C, or D, or you just leave. How many times do we leave the question blank? Because of like how much our overthinking gets the best of us.
Mike, what if the answer is E?
Yeah, what if the answer is E?
What if it's none of the above?
Or none of the above? Like sometimes
What if it's all of the above though too?
Sometimes life is just like that.
It usually is on test, all the above.
Or
most time.
do you just like do you just pick C?
Yeah.
We don't know. Yeah.
Well, yeah, isn't it? It's scientifically known as the most common correct answer is C.
That's crazy.
On multiple choice.
Is it?
Yes.
I'm surprised you don't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Logical.
If you don't know what it is, C.
My go-to is A.
Really?
Well,
Yes.
because Austria. That makes
Exactly.
sense. Yeah.
Coincidence? I think not. I want to mention something where you mentioned how life could be like a test.
Yeah.
Or I've heard people think of it as a video game.
Yeah.
Where there's different bosses
Yeah.
or side quests to your overall journey.
And sometimes sometimes that happens.
Yeah. And people say in a negative way or even a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
It shows how much you have grown,
Mm-hmm.
people have said, or how much struggle there is.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I see it in the thing, and I'll go back to what you also said about life, where you you live only once.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't. I mean, it's easier said than done, obviously.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, you should overthink less because instead of focusing on the past, just move forward.
The past is so. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Because you only live once, and you should just keep moving.
You know what I said to deal with the past is you made a decision back in the day, whatever decision that you're overthinking about, based on what you knew at the time, based on all of your capacities at the time. So to have like a sense of shame over that, you shouldn't feel shame over that because that's what you knew at the time. You made a decision. You went to Blaze Pizza, and that's what you knew at the time. Like you that's what you were. That's with the resources that you have, and you shouldn't feel shame about making I made a wrong decision, or I made a mistake by going to Blaze Pizza, or I made the wrong choice by I don't know what choices you make. I don't know. By staying up at 2 a.m. By staying up at 2 a.m. I think I made the wrong decision. You might feel regret the next morning, but life is about like experience. You experience that. So to beat yourself up about that is just really trying to. It's just you just don't like.
Just don't do it, man.
I know it's like it's hard. It's like easier, like you said, it's easier said than done, but. The way to counteract that is to look at your past self with a sense of, I did this, and I'm going to own my decision.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of like humility.
Yep.
I'm going to own my decision that I did. It's a mistake. I lashed out at someone, cursed them out. I lashed out at someone because I do that. But
Micah.
I'm going to be honest on this podcast. So I did this. I made a decision, and I could either beat myself up about it, or I can own up to it and, just learn to deal with things in a more healthy way, or learn that there's a different decision to make. Yeah. And we make decisions back in the day because we feel like there's only a certain limited amount of things that we can do at that time. So I can either only go to Blaze Pizza, or I can only do homework. Sorry, I keep going back to that.
Blazes Pizza.
This again.
Episode sponsored by Blazes Pizza.
I can only go to this event at 9 p.m. I can only we always think that there is like some decision that if I don't make the right decision, then something terrible is gonna happen. Like we're just that if I don't it's just. But I think we have that fear of like something terrible happening.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like that. Even if we don't know what it could be.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, the whole world's gonna end.
Yeah, we have that sense of dread over our decisions.
Yeah.
So
I have a good question for you guys.
Oh shoot. Nick's
and I want to see what I want to get an answer from you.
Bring it on, Nick.
Okay, so I have a scenario for you guys.
Okay.
So your favorite band is in town. So Pittsburgh.
My favorite band, my favorite artist will be in town.
Whatever band you want it to be.
Okay.
However, you also have a test the next day. It's for a class, whatever class you want it to be for.
I have an answer to this question.
What would you do?
I'm doing the band. You want to know why? Because the band, that could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yes, yeah.
And whereas also, the test, as long as you study before the concert.
Yeah, because you shouldn't. Because my psych professor tells me you should not cram before your exam. Yeah. Because you should take it in chunks, and when you do things in chunks, then you feel more confident about the test, or you'll feel more confident about what you're doing, and the band is just it's a way to we see going to the concert as a bad thing because it's having fun, and sometimes I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes we feel guilty for having some fun, you want to have fun. Yeah. And you feel like I need to set myself these standards where I don't allow myself to have fun and enjoy the present moment. Overthinking takes us out of the present moment, and sometimes we can't even enjoy our sleep where we're up at 2 a.m. or whatever.
That was justified, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say go for the band. I mean, I wouldn't say band, but if Frank Sinatra came to town, he's dead, so I have to go to heaven to see him. But I would definitely do that instead of taking a test, or instead of studying for a test.
I mean,
and I think denying yourself.
Sinatra, I mean,
exactly. Who wouldn't go to that?
Yeah,
I just hope my wallet's not stolen.
It will be. Not by me, though. Anyways, I think that by denying ourselves any sort of happiness in the face of that impending doom of exams, only intensifies the anxiety that we feel towards the exam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you what I thought about it. I would still go to the band.
Yeah.
However, I would think I would be overthinking it though too.
Yeah, you were overthinking. Like, I would definitely be overthinking my decision after buying the ticket and going. I'll be overthinking, but also like sometimes overthinking can like take us from the present moment. We're not able to enjoy like fun things like that.
Yeah.
Like we're not
Yeah.
able to enjoy that, and it could really mess us up from what's around us. Like,
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I'm trying to enjoy just this dinner, but I'm overthinking what this person's thinking about me, or how I feel they're judging me, or I'm overthinking the way I'm talking, or am I talking too much? Am I talking too like it's just so much.
Yeah. When in reality, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
But it feels that way. It feels
Yeah.
like it is.
Just like we talked about a couple of episodes ago about that, like, what's it called? Where you feel like people are watching you or something?
Oh, the imaginary
The
audience.
Yeah.
effect.
imaginary audience
That
effect.
was such a great example, dude.
Like, you
Thank
feel
you.
that I think we sometimes use overthinking as a way to cope with that.
Yeah.
So that we, like, if I overthink everything, then that means I can make the perfect decision and people won't be judging me. But, it's just a lot. It's a lot. But I guess, like, my closing thoughts is, dealing with to confront overthinking is first, ask yourself, why is this important? Why am I thinking so much about it? And question your expectations, question your black and white thinking, and take action.
Yep.
Because if you don't take action, then anxiety is just going to
Take you.
take you. Yes.
It's my anxiety.
Yeah.
Ah, dude,
I like that.
anxiety. Oh, I need
That song is really
anxiety.
good. Not when you sing it, but really, really good.
You don't like my cover?
Wait, what is it? If you don't take action, anxiety will come.
What? Action conquers anxiety. The quote.
No, after that.
After what?
In the quote. What was the
Wait,
whole
if you
We'll
don't
discuss
take-
it later.
wait.
I don't know what you're talking
Okay,
about right
yeah.
now.
Okay.
All right.
I'll give you my closing thoughts.
I bet.
Anxiety is the consequence of living in the future. Regret.
Oh, wait. Anxiety is a
I'm not
consequence.
done with my closing thoughts.
Sorry.
Regret is the consequence of living in the past. And peace is the result of living in the moment.
Did bro just cook?
I think you just
I
cooked.
think he just cooked right
I don't know if I can follow that up.
I'm closed now. You can do whatever you want.
there. All right. Nick?
I don't know how I'm gonna follow that up, but I'm gonna try to. I would say not overthinking is good, but also too I would say being careful too. Like I talked about earlier about like work and stuff. Like being like maybe set like a schedule or something for yourself. That would be a good way to maybe like if you're struggling with overthinking in terms of your work, you can be like, okay, I have this time to do this assignment or whatever. It can help you maybe less overthink.
Yeah. Like, I guess managing your time, too.
Yeah. For sure.
And knock off those perfectionistic ideals. Anyway.
Yeah.
You're human.
Overthinking is something that I have been dealing with my whole life. But it's something that I think that with this conversation definitely helps out. And I think a lot of other people, including especially college students, need to hear. We have all these expectations for us, and our future is right there. And I feel like some of us have to make all of those decisions all at once. In reality, that's not true.
But what if you make the wrong decision?
No,
That's good.
no,
Oh no!
don't listen to that.
Okay.
Frick.
Should have been up at 2 a.m. last night. We're gonna.
But like, just take it one thing at a time, and if you make a
And
mistake,
also, I'm sorry.
if you make a mistake, that's okay.
Thank you. I made a mistake.
You just gotta keep going. You only live once,
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Also, talk to your community about it. Like, be in community, because
Yup.
like we're all stuck in our heads thinking that we're the only ones overthinking. But until we talk to each other about it, then we're going to be able to feel more safe and say to be like, okay, I can relax. I'm safe in community. I can
Chill on
let go of
earth,
this.
born and raised.
And that's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was beautiful, Micah.
No.
All right. Well, I think that's all of us for today. Don't forget to, once again, leave a like, subscribe, because we do have a YouTube channel. I'm watching you. I see the logistics, all right? You need to go over there. as well.
Logistically speaking.
Okay.
Where's Angie when you need logistics? I'm just kidding.
Legit. Yeah. Shout out to Angie. She's the best. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow us on Spotify, and also don't forget to follow us on Instagram, and don't forget to say hi to me.
Preach.
And say hi to me. You know, I feel lonely. No, okay.
Say hi to us on Instagram and communicate with us.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We want to know your feedback.
Legit, any feedback we would love to hear. And we have plenty more surprises along the way. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.